Part 19. Path to Heaven. Author, Wu Ziyi. Chapter 184. Chapter 184 Kunpeng Golden Carp. Eisuo, you are sure that the dusk fruit and the bloody stems will make the blood dragon dizzy and lose the rank 1 against the enemy, /p. I have seen it in a classic, it should be no problem. How do you know that there is a possibility of a golden spotted ginseng in the dragon cliff, and there may be a blood dragon guardian? I also happened to see it on a fragment of ancient books. Golden spotted ginseng is a useful thing. The general cultivator should only collect golden spotted ginseng and will not uproot the golden spotted ginseng. Blood dragon is very sensitive to golden spotted ginseng, and spiritual qi, which is usually released on golden spotted ginseng, nourishes blood dragon, so golden spotted ginseng is usually guarded by blood dragon. /p. /p. Near noon, a swaying white jade crane flies in the wilderness of the wilderness outside Heaven's Dome. At the forefront of white jade crane, Wei Suo and Han Wei stand side by side, while Zhu Xiaochun and Zhen Chongming, the pair of great treasure brains, are standing on either side of each other, holding a shapeshift. Great art, very serious warning. After Wei Suo connected Han Wei to his Dongfu, he left again after a night. Wei Suo had already calculated it carefully before, because from his cave to the dragon cliff, it was more than twice as long as the Blue Wind Mound, and never been there. Unfamiliar terrain, plus 4 people, white jade crane's flying speed must be much slower, so even if you take Zhu Xiaochun and Zhen Chongming directly to Han Wei, it will definitely be before dark. If you can't get off the dragon cliff, you can only get to the vicinity of the Guangtu Ridge on the map. And that area is the place where the high-level monster beast is dense. It is very dangerous to go to the road or stay in that place at night. Only in the early morning can you enter the broken dragon cliff before dark. According to Green-Robed Old Man, shapeshift great art, within the range of hundreds of miles around the level 5 mid-level monster beast, is unlikely to have other high-level monster beast, because entering this area the monster beast will be held in place by the high-level monster beast, which is considered to have infringed its territory and will be killed by it without leaving lust, or expelled. The general high-level monster beast also seems to have a unique tacit understanding, unless it is a place where the spiritual herb is extremely important for both high-level monster beasts, otherwise these high-level monster beast will be consciously chosen. Avoid it, you won't fight for it. So after killing Blood Dragon and spending the night in the Dragon Cliff, it will be safer. Now Wei Suo and others have arrived at the place marked on the map, called the Blood Maple Wasteland. This place is a flat place with a flatter wilderness, many blood-red maples, and more than 800 miles from the Dragon Cliff. Great treasure, brother. Look over there. /p. Is appreciating this great treasure film continuous red maple forest wonders, the rear of the Zhu Xiaochun is a surging sound exclaimed, last pagoda tree village row, this eyebrows great treasure Han cut fine 2 eyebrows, now grow out of the 2 eyebrows is exuberant, talk like 2 black great treasure knife as 1 jump, usually Han Wei can not help but want to laugh. But this time I heard his surging sound exclaimed, seeing his 2 eyebrows, Han Wei is not thinking about it at all. Because of Zhu Xiaokun's gaze, she and Wei Suo saw dozens of lightning bolts falling from the sky in the sky of the secret place. Although it seems that the lightnings are very small, but the secret place is very clear, it is obvious that the lightning is the cultivator's shapeshift great art or what shapeshift great art is generated. Wei Suo's face changed, and white jade crane dropped a few moments and fell into a slightly shorter height than the maple canopy underneath. At the same time, he took a look at the map that had been seen many times. He didn't remember correctly, the secret place where the lightning falls now, if measured by the position of Blue Wind Mound, the secret place is in the north of Heaven's Dome outside Blue Wind Mound, completely out of the scope of Wei Suo's map. Among them, it was only after a short while, I saw only 5 or 6 escape lights in the sky, and then the escape light became more and more clear. Look at this lust shape, only those lightning, it seems that just these cultivators passed through that place, just met what monster beast. After a moment, those escape light unexpectedly is and Weisuo and other people hiding place more and more near, trans can see, the most current vaguely is a mahogany-colored boat general fly done shape-shift great art great treasure, and followed, but is forehead green flashing flying giant beast, afar, faintly is eagle, but with naked body appearance, but still some do not see clearly, there is no shape-shift great art judge exactly what level of monster beast. In the shape of the peach-colored awning boat-shaped feather shift great art great treasure, there are not many cultivators, but the foreheads look more powerful than the white jade crane at the foot of Weisuo. On the body, there are 2 or 3 cultivators standing in the shadows. The total number of these cultivators should be at least 10. I saw these cultivators, and when they arrived at the secret place great treasure of Weisuo, there were more than 200 miles away, but they fell straight to a secret place on the north side. The secret place is also outside the map area in the hands of Weisuo. Golden Eagle. Those people are people of the Golden Eagle Palace. /p. When the cultivators flew down, Han Weiwei, who faintly saw the claws of the flying behemoths, issued a suspicious sound. He people of Golden Eagle Palace, Eisuo also took a trip. It should be no mistake. Golden Eagle's abdomen is cyan's, the claws are golden, and the 4 golden bodies of the Golden Eagle's naked body are such a great treasure. It is definitely the elder class Golden Eagle raised by the Golden Eagle Palace. The Golden Eagle Palace has a total of 8 such elders. Great Golden Eagle. Other sect and rogue cultivators even with Golden Eagle, it is impossible to have so many elders of Golden Eagle. Wei was definitely a nod to Weisuo. Let's see how. Weisuo brows slightly wrinkled with low surging sound and Han Weiwei negotiated. Originally, Weisuo didn't want to make extra money. When he saw that the cultivator had already landed, he wanted to sneak away. But when I heard that Han Weiwei said that these were Golden Eagle Palace people, Weisuo couldn't help but want to see if they were coming to this secret place. Since the last time the old elder of the Golden Eagle Palace was killed in 7-Star City, the relationship between Weisuo and Golden Eagle Palace is of course already a deadly enemy. If there is a chance to kill several Golden Eagle Palace players, Weisuo is of course very happy. Alright, Han Weiwei also nodded immediately. She had wanted to look at it in the past, and Weisuo said that she was of course a blessing. Euro/P. What are these guys doing? Weisuo was still thinking about what kind of shapeshift great art would be as close as possible to the cultivators of these Golden Eagle Palaces, but when it was sneaking close to the secret place, the movements of the Golden Eagle Palace's cultivators were already heaven-shaking. It is. Moreover, the location of the secret place of these cultivators is very low, so Weisuo etal on the hill of a secret place in this mountain range can still see these people at least 20 miles away from these cultivators. Undoubtedly. I saw this secret place in the forest, there is actually a small lake with a radius of a few miles. The waters of this small lake are green and look down from the hill where Weisuo and others are located, like an emerald great treasure stone. The cultivator that landed this secret place at the moment is almost completely clear. A total of 13 cultivators, all gathered on a grassy flat lake, are headed by a slim black cultivator and a middle-aged cultivator wearing a golden shape-shift great art. 9 of the remaining 11 cultivators are wearing the same dark yellow shape-shift great art, while the other 3 are wearing dark blue, cyan, and earthy shape-shift great art clothes, which feels like it is a little older than the 9 cultivators. As for the face and dress of the naked body, because Weisuo and others are now behind the cultivator, and the distance is far away, it is still not clear. At the moment, the 9 cultivators who are obviously wearing the Golden Eagle Palace shapeshift great art clothes are each carrying the Thunder attribute Euro shapeshift great art, which constantly excites the bright lightning of the thickness of the arm. On the surface of the lake, there was a bang, and the water was blasted on the surface of the lake. The white air filled the surface and the surging sound shook the wild. and the cultivator wearing a gray shape-shift great art suit, which looks a little chunky and has a slightly bald head, is a fast-selling micro small flag with more than a dozen triangles. See, these small flag once excited, but is a swarm of blue light, fell on these cultivator around the body of the ground. Immediately, a round of mist from these small flag out, soon these cultivator shadow all enveloped in, as the mist continues to diffuse, soon these cultivator within hundreds of feet of the region, are shrouded in white mist. From Weisuo and other people on the hill down, also see what these cultivator in the end in what to do, only to see a piece of arm-like weight of lightning is still constantly smashed on the lake. Just when Weisuo and Hanwei couldn't help but look at each other, a surging sound of boom screamed, and the center of the green lake slammed a giant great treasure. Compared with this group of water, the water column of the lightning bolts inspired by these Golden Eagle Palace cultivators is simply too fine. Among the huge giant treasures, the golden figure of Pangret treasure suddenly appeared. That the golden figure of the giant treasure, which is more than 10 feet long, is covered with golden scales. It looks like a giant great treasure golden carp, but like a golden squid. On the body, there is a pair of gold wings that seem to be longer, and the abdomen seems to have a pair of claw-like claws. On Peng golden carp, /p. Just a slight sigh, and seeing a pair of equally scaled giant wings on the golden squid-like monster beast, Weisuo and Hanwei all changed their faces. Kunpeng golden carp. Level 6 mid-level. And the blood dragon level, the strength to thought division stage 3rd layer cultivators monster beast. Poor dedication. Path to Heaven. Author, Wu Ziyi. Chapter 185. Chapter 185 Domestication on the Wild. I don't think there will be a Kunpeng golden carp. The same is the level 6 monster beast, the number is also very small. Like the level 6 mid-level gold plaque, there are a lot of outside of Heaven's Dome, and this Kunpeng golden carp is also a rare sight for decades. And in the case of golden apes, although its strength is also reached level 6 mid-level, but after the killing, the body of material only a stunning defense of the epidermis and a monster core useful, but Kunpeng golden carp is different. This aquatic giant type monster beast is a rare gold, water dual attribute monster beast. Not only a gold scales and naked body of some bones can be used to refine shapeshift great art great treasury, shapeshift great art device, and its spine of a section. But also with a strange magnetic force, refining into shapeshift great art great treasure, can make the other side of the gold iron shapeshift great art great treasure become heavy, action great treasure obstructed. The cultivator's shapeshift great art great treasure, at least half of it is made with a variety of essence metal. I want to have such a shapeshift great art great treasure in my hand. When I am at the time of the enemy, I will sacrifice the shapeshift great art that I attacked. I will shake my hand and shake it with a bag of yin phosphorus sand. Hit it up, the other party must be burning with the desire to cry. This is a high-level monster beast with strange materials, and Weisuo certainly wants to die. The key is that the level 6 mid-level monster beast is a good bully. It is said that this Kunpeng golden carp, but can stimulate several powerful treasure range of the powerful treasure range attack type shapeshift great art. At the time of the Weisuo or a determining technique, only the black cultivator headed and the middle-aged cultivator wearing the golden shapeshift great art clothing were the cultivation base of Heavenly Circuit Realm 5th layer, and the rest was only Heavenly Circuit Realm 2nd. The cultivation base of the layer cultivator, especially the 9 Golden Eagle Palace disciples, is nothing more than the cultivation base of the Divine Sea Realm 5th layer. Such a combination, actually dare to kill a level 6 mid-level monster beast, there must be something to control. At this time, a crystal white light emerged from the dense fog. This splendid light became more and more great treasure in the air, but it turned into an ice sculpture like a 9-layer great treasure tower. The great treasure is long. I saw the inside of the crystal clear great treasure tower, a white ribbon like chill appeared, more and more thick, Just a moment of time, a 3-foot-long ice ridge is in this 9 the formation of the layer of the Great Treasure Tower. Even the distance and the distance of Weisuo feel the sharp drop in the surrounding temperature. Spirit rank shapeshift great art great treasure. Such a powerful energy, even the simple two-person group of Zhu Xiaochun and Zhen Chongming behind Weisuo, can see that this is at least the real spirit rank shapeshift great art great treasure. All the ice ridges that are constantly coming out, the rainstorms are usually shot towards the Kunpeng golden carp in the center of the lake. Weisuo frowned and looked at the constant power of the ice. Even if he told him that this is not the spirit shift great art great treasure in the spirit rank, he is absolutely unbelievable. At this time, the two original gold-colored eyes on the head of Kunpeng golden carp in the center of the lake suddenly burst into a red light. I saw that there were at least 200 water-thickness arrows in front of him, and after a slight pause in the air, it immediately rushed out, and it looked like there were countless white fish flying in the air, very beautiful. Almost the great treasure. Most of the ice ribs were instantly shattered, and a few ice ribs hit it, but it seemed to be a little easy to block. Go! With the surging of a surging sound sternly shouted, there are hundreds of red fireballs in the dense fog. But at this time, on the ground in the thick fog, suddenly there was a movement, at least 20 secret points. The sediment on the ground rolled up, and the scope became more and more great treasure, even formed one by one. The high great treasure's prominence, followed by a surging sound, as if a suffocating skin was instantly punctured. More than 20 giant great treasures of water columns mixed with raging sand directly at the Golden Eagle Palace. The cultivator's array exploded. Pa! A surging sound burst. Grey-robed cultivator Heartache is extremely exclaimed. His two-sided blue flag was destroyed by Kunpeng golden carp. The rest of the small flag was also a faintness of spirit light, and the dense fog that permeated the lake quickly dissipated. Give me in. All kinds of defensive brilliance, in a chaotic array, with a surging sound sternly shouted of a cultivator wearing a dark blue shapeshift great art. A golden ring rushed out in the fog that had begun to dissipate. It turned out to be a small golden ring of a house great treasure, and it slammed down towards the Kunpeng golden carp in the center of the lake. However, before the golden ring approached, Kunpeng golden carp spewed out a giant great treasure in the mouth of the water, which turned out to be a surging sound. This is also a really weighty spirit rank shapeshift great art great treasures giant great treasure gold ring rolling in the air, cannot fall. That's awesome. The Kunpeng golden carp is overbearing, and both Weisuo and Han Weiwei have scalp tingling. It seems that 2 or 3 pieces of spirit rank shapeshift great art great treasure simply can't look like this level 6 mid-level monster beast. Boom. Almost at the same time, Kunpeng golden carp's naked body seemed to heavily shake the water in the water, and the shore of the Golden Eagle Palace was more than 100 feet away. The place where the Golden Eagle Palace stood was turned like a wave. There are a lot of yingying water blades. Ah! For a time, the Golden Eagle Palace's cultivator was made up for a while, and some cultivators even seemed to have a light. Each of the Dao technique shapeshift great art of Kunpeng golden carp is not only fascinating beyond the true spirit rank, but also the speed of the shapeshift great art, which is much faster than the cultivator of the heavenly circuit realm 5th layer. Seeing that this group of cultivators is not the opportunity of this Kunpeng golden carp at all, from the white, the mist that is rapidly dissipating, the anjing of a surging sound, a powerful terrifying screaming surging sound, only Weisuo and Han Weiwei and others all felt that the head was banging. Then, a fierce wind swelled out of thin air, and the white mist that had already dissipated quickly was completely emptied. A dragon-like monster beast, covered in red stripes and curled up in the body, appeared in everyone's eyes. No. Weisuo was almost given a sip of his own. The monster body of this monster beast is also very terrifying. Compared with this monster beast, the Golden Eagle Palace cultivator underneath it seems to be a little bit different. The head is somewhat similar to the unicorn, but the body is full of 4 giant claws, each of which looks like a great treasure by Weisuos. Demonic Flame Dragon. This is clearly a level 6 mid-level monster beast, Demonic Flame Dragon. Hong. At the moment when this Demonic Flame Dragon appeared, it was flashing in the red great treasure stone-like eyes, and a mouth spouted a bucket-like giant great treasure. A surging sound of unbeatable, Demonic Flame Dragon fights the head of the great treasure, a big red monster core with a fist great treasure sprays out, spilling the essence of the great treasure piece of great treasure, towards the Kunpeng. The golden carp cover fell. At the same time, I saw that the black cultivator named first appeared in the air, controlling the power tower that was close to the spirit rank mid-level, and the ice tower was spurting out, and the lake around Kunpeng golden carp was the ice has to freeze. The other cultivators are also very tacit, and each of them has inspired a shapeshift great art character. I saw a group of red light rolling in the air. The fire cloud of the great treasure piece of great treasure appeared above the lake. The dense fireballs, and even hundreds of grinding discs, great treasure, small magma balls. SS. One also almost fists great treasure small green monster core from Kunpeng golden carp mouth also sprayed out, splashing out countless green dan liquid, and pouring down the core fire impact, issued a shocking chi crack surging sound. At the same time, this neck is obviously burned a bucket great treasure small festering wound Kunpeng golden carp body, but is a piece of golden brilliance, formed a strong golden light cover. A variety of fire clouds, fireballs, and magma hit it, and it was hardened by this layer of golden reticle, and a puff of explosions came. This kind of great treasure group cultivator has dealt with a scene of more than 6 levels of monster beast. Weisuo has never seen it before, let alone one party has a similar level of domesticated monster beast to help out. This kind of scene can be said to let Weisuo it is thrilling to see. But at this time, in the eyes of great treasure, he couldn't help but screamed at the heart of a surging sound. Just the grey-robed cultivator, apparently similar to the flag of the spirit Mr. Ray, can be used as a blue small flag for Dongfu protection, and the Kunpeng golden is now a very jealous carp, but the blue small L flag has been damaged. Do not say, now this head Kunpeng golden carp looks also should not persist for long. Is Golden Eagle Palace this group of people in the bag of things? Such a Kunpeng golden carp was taken away by the group under the ice. It was really unwilling. But this is also the level 6 demonic flame dragon, how can you get it? And without this demonic flame dragon, it is the cultivation base of 2 heavenly circuit realm 5th layer. Weisuo is basically not an attacker even if it is a sneak attack. Who is actually taming with a demonic flame dragon of this level? I have never heard of it before. The Golden Eagle Palace is domesticated with this level of monster beast. For a time, the thoughts in Weisuo's mind turned a lot. And at this time, it is a change. A surging sound of, only the golden light on Kunpeng golden carp was extinguished, but the green treasure on the monster core was up, and the spilled medicine pill instantly formed a turquoise column, towards the demonic flame. Dragon's neck is banging. The fierce eyes of the demonic flame dragon are full of horror. The reddish monster core obviously spurred to the extreme, but the sudden explosion of core fire could not stop this greenish water column. There was a bloody cave of the giant great treasure. Also the level 6 mid-level monster beast, this seemingly fierce demonic flame dragon, turned out to be Kunpeng golden carp. After Weisuo stayed for a while, he immediately responded. Although the demonic flame dragon naked body type is already such a great treasure, it seems that the age is not long enough, and the Kunpeng golden carp is far exceeds this. Head demonic flame dragon, so it's going to be a bit more natural. Hong. As soon as I saw the demonic flame dragon hit hard, all the cultivators on the lake were full of great treasures, all shapeshift great art great treasures, and shapeshift great art, which was slammed on Kunpeng golden carp. For a time, the blood light of Kunpeng golden carp collapsed, and there were countless wounds, which were also hit hard. At the same time, a surging sound was terrible. The water waves underneath rushed, and the lake that had already frozen the small half was all washed away. The giant great treasure figure boom surging sound sank into the water. Hurry! Chase! Only vaguely heard that the head of the golden shirt cultivator a surging sound abnormal sharp howl, the rapid in the body of Sinorama great treasure out demonic flame, dragon blood rush of the neck painted something after that, they quickly sacrificed a shapeshift great art great treasure, and then a lot of cultivator with his side, the shoo sank into the lake, chasing down. In addition to the water waves still tumbling on the lake, there were no figures outside the impact of many ice flows. Only the Golden Eagle Palace disciple of the Divine Sea Realm fifth layer was left at the lake, guarding the heavily damaged demonic flame dragon. The previous fierce demonic flame dragon, although the blood of the neck has stopped, but it is lying on the ground like a dead snake, a terrifying body is a breath of sorrow. You are waiting for me here at this moment, Wei Suo's eyes flashed, but it was a decision, and Han Weiwei and others around him said quickly. You have to do what? Han Weiwei was shocked. I am going to touch the demonic flame dragon, Wei Suo swallowed his mouth and looked like a miser. Poor dedication. You are listening to novels at Bless Up channel. Wish you happiness and luck. How do you feel about this novel? Please like and leave a comment. Path to Heaven. Author, Wu Ziyi. Chapter 186. Chapter 186 Touched and Ran. What? Han Weiwei suddenly treasured his eyes. Zhu Xiaochun, Zhen Chongming, you two are waiting here. Han Weiwei, you are with me. Ei Suo immediately looked at Han Weiwei and said quickly. All right, Han Weiwei also immediately gritted his teeth and nodded. Zhu Xiaochun and Zhen Chongming immediately obediently swept from the white jade crane, just a flash, white jade crane disappeared from their eyes. I am going to deal with that demonic flame dragon, you are responsible for the cultivator. Wei Suo pushed the white jade crane to the extreme, and took out a golden little hand and handed it to Han Weiwei. This golden little cockroach is the thunder attribute shapeshift great art great treasure between Granite Jin and the middle grade. N. Han Weiwei didn't ask much at all this time, and nodded very obediently. After all, the skinny dead camel is more than a horse great treasure, who knows when a level 6 mid-level monster beast dying, will not be a mess. And the most important thing is that the Golden Eagle Palace cultivator that goes into the lake can come out at any time. Level 6 monster beast is level 6 monster beast /P. Because of the speed, Wei Suo just flew down from the forest as quickly as possible. Except for Han Weiwei, he did not have shadow shift great art to hide his own possession. When the demonic flame dragon near the lake and the Golden Eagle Palace disciple were nearly 200 feet away, the Golden Eagle Palace disciple of the Divine Sea Realm 5th layer cultivation base still had no notice, but the demonic flame dragon has already felt the temperament of Wei Suo and Han Weiwei, supporting the way he wants to force his head up. This Golden Eagle Palace's disciple didn't expect that two people would touch it at the moment, and suddenly saw the breath of the demonic flame dragon twisting, and thought that the change of the demonic flame dragon had changed, and suddenly the face was great. Treasure changed, panicked, and looked up. Was. When I saw this demonic flame dragon, even if it was discovered, there was no shapeshift great art straight up to squirt out the monster core to look like an enemy. Wei Suo knew the great treasure, knowing that this demonic flame dragon was indeed Kunpeng golden. Carp was extremely hurt. At the same time, the white jade crane slammed forward, and a surging sound screamed, directly presenting the most powerful 6 Yang Divine Fire pitchfork on hand. Golden Eagle Palace disciple suddenly felt wrong. When he turned his head, he saw the golden eyes in front of him. It seemed that there were 6 suns coming in from the front, and the eyes were stabbed and could not open their eyes. Before he could get any action, the deadly dangerous demonic flame dragon was forced to squirt monster core, a surging sound of dang, Seeing the reddish monster core and entangled 6 yang divine fire pitchfork with a golden flame has a hard fight. Both of them bounced off and there was no damage, but the golden flame and the reddish core fire fell a lot, just above the disciple of the Golden Eagle Palace. The Golden Eagle Palace disciple was just a horrified look, only to have a semi-surging sound screaming. The entire upper body was sprinkled with a golden flame and a reddish core fire, directly into an ashes. As soon as I saw that the Golden Eagle Palace disciple I had to deal with was directly burned, Han Weiwei of Rushing Thunder Pestle, who had already inspired Grandma Jin, was also very excited to be on the head of Demonic Flame Dragon. Poor this Demonic Flame Dragon is also a strong great treasure of level 6 mid-level. Usually, 2 cultivators like Wei Suo and Han Weiwei are 2 dishes, but now they are seriously injured, but they can't stop it. The first time, the wound was directly cracked again, and it was convulsed. At this time, Wei Suo also launched the Divine Consciousness Shock of the mysterious Great Treasure Code without hesitation. I saw the already painful Demonic Flame Dragon, which was a stiff, eye drum. It came out, as if swallowing thousands of flies at once. Kai/P. Wei Suo's 6 yang divine fire pitchfork once again smashed into the wound from the neck of Demonic Flame Dragon without leaving lust. On the 6 yang divine fire pitchfork, there is no flame in the core fire. The great treasure in the neck of Demonic Flame Dragon is directly burned into fly ash. Even if the vitality of the Demonic Flame Dragon is tyrannical, it cannot withstand such a heavy blow. Pangret Treasure's naked body suddenly lost its softness, and suddenly it is dead and can no longer die. The reddish monster core in the air was dark and fell. Wei Suo immediately grabbed the fist's great red monster core, and immediately took the Demonic Flame Dragon's naked body and the reddish monster core into the treasure-receiving pocket. Fortunately, these days, mind-devouring bug and immortal slaying vine and artifact refinement consume a lot of monster beasts, otherwise Wei Suo's treasure-receiving pocket is still full and can't fit this one more than 20. Wei Suo added. Great treasure some of the dead body of the Demonic Flame Dragon. Then, seeing that the treasure-receiving pocket on the Golden Eagle Palace has been burnt down by core fire, Wei Suo did not hesitate, inspiring a group of innate true fire, wrapped in the Golden Eagle Palace disciple. In the moment, the corpse of the Golden Eagle Palace disciple was burnt and there was no residue left. After doing all this, Wei Suo immediately took the white jade crane and ran with Han Weiwei, but for a moment, it disappeared without a trace. Euro/P. Hong, a surging sound, just after Wei Suo and Han Weiwei disappeared into the forest, an incense stick worth of time, a group of water rushed up, and the previous group of cultivators chasing the lake swept out of the lake. I saw the golden cultivator 40, which is the first one. It is so majestic. At this moment, it is carrying a green giant treasure bead, which is the monster core of Kunpeng Golden Carp. And the black cultivator that stood by his side, wearing a mask on his face, did not have any sense of lust in his eyes, but he was the cultivator of Black Fiend who killed Lu Zhongzhou. I didn't expect that there was an underground dark river under the lake. Although this Kunpeng Golden Carp escaped from this is the real level 6 mid-level monster core. It is this monster core. It worthwhile/P. From the lake, I saw that the golden cultivator was very proud to look at the green monster core in his hand. Li Palace Lord, just ask the Demonic Flame Dragon borrowed from the Red Fire Practitioner. The injury is very light, is there a problem? Black Robe Cultivator looking at the Golden Shirt Cultivator Road. I have already used the spiritual herb. Although it is a serious injury, it will not be a great treasure. With the means of my Golden Eagle Palace, I will take it back for 2 months and I will return it to the Redo Practitioner. He Golden Shirt Cultivator is very conceited. Alice Lord, at this time, the cultivators of several Golden Eagle Palaces behind them were all stunned and issued a surging sound. What happened? The Golden Shirt Cultivator glimpsed a little, turned to see the cultivators looking at the lake's sluggish gaze, and swept over, The previous site has always been happy to stay in the gold shirt cultivator on the monster core and beside him the black robe mask cultivator, but it is incredible read treasure eyes. Originally lying on the edge of a demonic flame dragon, it was empty and nothing. An old great treasures level 6 mid-level monster beast, with a great treasure of divine sea realm 5th layer, how can it be gone? After a while, the golden shirt cultivator responded, his face was completely distorted, and he screamed, "Someone came here when we drove down the lake, and searched for me." It was hard to hit a level 6 mid-level monster beast's inner core, but it lost a whole level 6 mid-level monster beast, which is simply a vomiting. And this demonic flame dragon, or this golden shirt cultivator borrowed from other powerful cultivators. Euro/P. Make great treasure. Earn great treasure this time. A level 6 mid-level monster beast Weisuo, this time we hit a level 6 mid-level monster beast /P. Han Weiwei's blushing, full of tension and excitement in his eyes. Screw your sister. Weisuo, who was flying by White Jade Crane, was also screaming in the air while sweating. If the group of cultivators came out when they killed the demonic flame dragon, it would be more dangerous, but this time it was a gamble. From the group, the Golden Eagle Palace cultivator grabbed a level 6 mid-level demonic flame dragon. At this moment, he and Han Weiwei and others have passed through the red maple forest and continue to move toward the dragon cliff. The form outside of Heaven's Dome is very complicated, plus he has a map on the side of it. No accident, the cultivator is not likely to catch up with him. But for the sake of insurance, Weisuo still dare not have the slightest stop. And originally just in the escape, he still a little cannot help but want to use the remaining Skicloud essence in that group of people, but think of their own Skicloud essence if this use is not, plus this is in the Heaven's Dome, himself and that group of people are not far enough. If recruited a lot of level 6 even level 7 monster beast words, they may not be able to run, so Weisuo finally gave up this want to shapeshift great art. Weisuo lowered the White Jade Crane, almost on the ground, and it was really shocking and there was no cultivator to catch up. By the end of the evening, a stretch of mountains appeared in front of Weisuo and Han Weiwei. This mountain range is hundreds of miles long, and the highest mountain in the east seems to be cut by half. It is a straight cliff, and the upper part of many steep mountains in the whole mountain range is all the yellow mound, far away, is like a cluster of dragon scales. From the far secret place, the whole mountain range is like a dragon that has been cut off, lying on the wilderness. This mountain range is obviously the destination of Weisuo's trip to the dragon cliff. After a brief observation in the air, Weisuo took control of the White Jade Crane and flew over the central region of the mountain. At the last moment the sun disappeared into the sky. Weisuo stopped in front of two connected mountains. The two peaks are about 1,000 feet high. It is strange that the lower half of the mountain is obviously hard rock, but the upper half is a yellow earth with only a few sparse trees. Very well, if I remember correctly, the secret place has the golden spotted ginseng. Just in the valley behind the two mountains at this time, the surging sound of green-robed old man rang in Weisuo's ear. Poor dedication. Path to Heaven. Author, Wu Ziyi. Chapter 187. Chapter 187 Black Worm. The valley is at least 5.5 miles away. Golden spotted ginseng in the easternmost piece of stone forest. It is generally impossible for blood dragon to leave the stone forest. From then on, the two peaks will pass, and it should be very safe. After seeing the stone forest inside, you set up the shapeshift great art to use the blue emperor bottle gourd to get close to the edge of the stone forest, and put down the blood lotus stem and the twilight fruit. If there is a blood dragon inside, it should be able to draw it. This blood dragon can reach a cultivator with a distance of up to 300 feet. When you put down the blood stems and twilight fruit, for safety reasons, even if you have blue emperor bottle gourd, you should leave at least 300 feet to hide. /P. After hearing the intercourse-like green-robed old man, Wei Suo did not move the surging sound color to Han Weiwei and Zhu Xiaochun, and Zhen Chongming, a pair of great treasure brain simple duo. Then the controls took the white jade crane and quietly rose. Strange, it should have been a few yellow earth bags and a piece of wood. How could it be such a sand? Wei Suo, you have to be careful, it seems that there is something weird. /P. After a while, Wei Suo, who had just passed the two hills, looked strangely on the slopes of the two yellow earth hills. Even if green-robed old man doesn't say it, Wei Suo can see that the valley is a bit weird. Now the hillside where Wei Suo is located on the west side of the valley. Now because of the night, there is no way to see the stone forest opposite green-robed old man. But the valley in front of it is completely different from the green-robed old man 20,000 years ago. The entire valley is full of gray sand, and the gray sand has spread to dozens of feet on the surrounding hillside. The height of the location. At the moment, Wei Suo still has more than 40 feet in the gray sand in front of it, but it can be faintly felt that the gray sand is revealing a trace of heat. Obviously, although the temperature on the gray sand is not as good as the fiery hot, the temperature looks at least higher than the hot pool built by Wei Suo. In the darkness, such an endless gray sand, the face of Han Weiwei and others changed slightly, but the surging sound was discovered by the blood dragon at the level 6 mid-level, so Han Weiwei and others did not dare. What is the surging sound? Just look at Wei Suo and see what action he has. Wei Suo's brow wrinkled. After seeing his eyes flash for a while, he made a gesture to Han Weiwei and others to stop her and Zhu Xiaochun and Zhen Chongming. Then he carefully walked toward the gray sand, and when he was still more than 10 feet away from the gray sand, he stopped and took a 3-level upper-grade black wind from the treasure-receiving pocket. The corpse's naked body was thrown into the gray sand in front of it. After black wind fell, it fell into a small half, and then Wei Suo waited for the half-stick of incense time, but no surging sound, no response. After Wei Suo hesitated for a moment, the figure was moving, but he tried to enter the gray sand. Of course, he was suspended above the gray sand, and he did not dare to see this piece never seen before. Even the green-robed old man could not see the strange and touching sand. After that, he took out an ordinary silver knife and carefully picked up some gray sand. I saw this kind of gray sand, except that some warmth and color are black and gray, and there is nothing difference between the ordinary sandstone and the great treasure. There is no unique smell. Wei Suo looked at it for a while, and there was no change in the ordinary silver knife. This kind of gray sand should also have no corrosive effect. Immediately, I saw Wei Suo took out a yellow twilight fruit and a bloody stem on the gray sand. These two things are placed on top of it, and there is no reaction. It will not look like it will be baked for a while. This time he obviously breathed a sigh of relief, put away these two things, and then waved to Han Weiwei and others. After Han Weiwei and others rushed over, they used the white jade crane to carry 4 people. Be careful. Extremely flew into the gray sand. The more you fly in, the stronger the hot breath, and the inside is also high and low. There seems to be a small mound, but the surface is also covered with gray sand. It seems that the entire valley has been grayed out. The sand is covered with normal. How come there is a stone pillar here? Suddenly, Wei Suo stopped suddenly, because his ears suddenly sounded the green-robed old man's surging sound. According to green-robed old man's shapeshift great art, this secret place should not be in the middle of the valley, and there should be at least 30 miles from the east side of the stone forest. But at the moment, the eyes of Wei Suo and others are the ones that have already appeared. These stone pillars have a height of 5 or 6 feet, and they are also all naked body gray, which gives a strange feeling. Just as Wei Suo was carefully prepared to look at the nearest stone pillar, there was a strange surging sound in the pillar, almost just between the moments, all the stone pillars around. In places where Wei Suo and others can't see the sight, there is also a surging sound of female sign euro. I saw a thin black line, first flying from a stone pillar closest to Weisuo. With the appearance of this thin black line, all the stone pillars were densely packed with countless black lines. The speed of each black line is extremely amazing, and all of them are coming to Weisuo and others. This is not good. Weisuo, fast, inspire the set of shapeshift great art shields. More exciting, several divine light screen. The same time, green-robed old man screamed in a panic. Weisuo's face changed, and immediately spurred 20 pairs of flaming great treasure stone set of shapeshift great art shield. I saw the red great treasure divided into 3 layers. The stone-like shapeshift great art shield has just been suspended in a 4-person around the body. Some of the black lines flying in the front have hit some of the outermost shapeshift great art shield. What the hell is this? Han Weiwei couldn't help but exclaim. The black line is actually very slender, with a few thin wings, similar in shape to the scorpion, but the head is very sharp, like a sharp-drilled zerg. And these zerg's movements are extremely agile. Just before the frontal worms hit the corner of the shapeshift great art shield, and the subsequent worms quickly circumvented the shapeshift great art shield. The edge is a pervasive look. This is heavenly black driller insect. Defense and speed are comparable to the rank 4 speed master beast, but without the inner core, so it is not included in the monster beast. This black drill worm is gold, fire dual attribute of the insect, not afraid of fire, and the mouth of naked body liquid specialized corrosion essence metal class shapeshift great art great treasure. Essence met the AL class of shapeshift great art great treasure and shapeshift great art shields are simply unstoppable, and unless the golden core stage cultivator display true fiery, otherwise the general fire attribute technique shapeshift great art cannot hurt this kind of insect, even if you use samadhi divine flames to inspire the congenital true fire also not. This time, green-robed old man's rushing surging sound was also introduced into Weisuo's ear. Upon hearing this, Weisuo's face suddenly became ugly, and the white jade crane was controlled to escape. However, the number of heavenly black driller insect is too amazing. It has been overwhelming in an instant. The hurricane generally wraps Weisuo and others in it. The resistance of the strong great treasure makes Weisuo almost impossible to move. Weisuo's face was ugly, and after taking a surging sound, he quickly took out the semi-spirit rank white cold jade disc that could spur the cold and handed it to Zhu Xiaochun behind him. To his surprise, Weisuo saw that Zhu Xiaochun's face was rosy, as if he was not afraid at all, still enjoying the same look. This made Weisuo unable to help but ask, "Why, do you have shapeshift great art to deal with these things? Why are you not afraid?" /P. No, what are you afraid of, great treasure, can you definitely deal with it? /P. Zhuxiaokun's answer made Weisuo almost roll one's eyes and passed out. He really didn't want to say anything to this guy. Zhen Chongming, you control my set of shapeshift great art shields. If you can free your hands, it will inspire you Ice Dragon True Secrets. This is heavenly black driller insect. You can't use the shapeshift great art of the essence metal class and the shape attribute of the fire attribute. After reaching out and moving the main shield in front of Zhen Chongming, Weisuo took out dozens of shapeshift great art symbols and handed it to Han Weiwei. Han Weiwei, you can cast these shapeshift great art characters to deal with these black worms. If you can get your hands, you can also use your Ice Dragon True Secrets. After these 2 sentences, Weisuo quickly grabbed the rushing thunder pestle and green seeker silver staff from Grandma Jin. The lust shape at the moment is simply not doing shapeshift great art. It is good luck or bad. These black worms do not have shapeshift great art corroding Weisuo, which is not metal and not jade, similar to the plastic shapeshift great art shield. Otherwise, if it is replaced by other essence metal class shapeshift great art shield, I am afraid it will be destroyed. Lost. Weisuo also refines into such a set of shapeshift great art shields, at least against the pressure of the dark treasure half of the black worm, otherwise the number is so amazing, the black cloud is pressed into the general black worm, way several divine light screens outside Suo are definitely not supported, and they must be fractured in an instant. But that's it. Looking at the impact of these black worms close to the semi-spirit rank shapeshift great art, the Wei Suo set of shapeshift great art shields and several divine light screens are not supported for a long time. It is definitely to use shapeshift great art and shapeshift great art set up shapeshift great art to kill these black worms. If the shapeshift great art draws blood dragon, I am afraid that Wei Suo and others will find it difficult to escape, but at this moment, they will not die, but they will die here soon. The left and right are dead, but Wei Suo, who is extremely helpless, can only choose to fight together and first pass through this difficult situation. Zhu Xiaochun at this moment, there is no hesitation to stimulate the white coal jade disc. It seems that there is nothing like shapeshift great art. It seems to be very happy. It is really a great treasure. After Wei Suo shook his head speechlessly, he did not stop to inspire Green Seeker Silver Staff. I saw this very rough Green Seeker Silver Staff with a green crystal-like round crystal stone on top of the refining path to heaven. Author, Wu Ziyi. Chapter 188. Chapter 188 Nine Tunes Yellow Wind Formation, 3rd, Red Ticket. Under the pressure of Wei Suo True Yuan, the shapeshift great art array on the Green Seeker Silver Staff flashed, and a silvery short stick that looked very rough was brilliant, and the round green crystal stone on top of it is a layer of green leafy splendid light, which forms a green light curtain in front of Wei Suo's. When this green light curtain was formed, Wei Suo signaled that Chen Chongming had opened the complete set of shapeshift great art shields in front of the green light curtain. I saw the 5 or 6 shapeshift great art shields just coming out, the reveals a gap, the dense black worms formed a black column, rushing. A surging sound, a great treasure piece of golden electric snake in front of Wei Suo, is the last layer of golden snake thunder secret art shapeshift great art chaotic dance of golden snakes. Saw this great treasure film crackling golden electric snake in the light screen, but is shuren and divided into countless small lightning bolt, densely 4 secret place scattered, originally chaotic dance of golden snakes. The Steo Technique shapeshift great art of the shrouded range is Tenjiang, but after this strange green screen a filter, but is spilled open at least 20 jiang, lacy fine as rain, so small as the needle heavenly black driller insect are no shapeshift great art can dodge. It turned out that after Wei Suo tried the mind-devouring bug elder shapeshift great art beads, he suddenly remembered that he and green-robed old man had a leak before and bought a green leaf dish shapeshift great art. Anyway, there are 4 vacancies on the Green Seeker Silver Staff, and Wei Suo puts the green leaf butterfly shapeshift great art beads on top. The green leaf butterfly shapeshift great art beads have no other powerful energy, but they have the effect of splitting sputter, which is the speed of these black worms. The general operation shapeshift great art and shapeshift great art great treasure also difficult to make, but now the lacy pocket head a hood, in front of a great treasure black drill worm suddenly was all over the body, the back of the black drill worm, chaos into a regiment. At this time, Han Weiwei had already inspired an ice rain, and the white coal jade disc was also spurred by Zhu Xiaochun. The ice of the group made the black worms freeze and stiff. Wei Suo didn't hesitate to inspire rushing thunder pestles lightning giant treasure hammering into the mammoth. Every time I knocked, a black worm was beaten like black shavings. Fortunately, Wei Suo has rushing thunder pestle, which does not need tire naked body bombardment, is not afraid of damage, and has enough energy shapeshift great art great treasure, otherwise it is to use 6 yang divine fire pitchfork. I do not know, insurance is not insurance. At this point their secret place has been very great, but it does not lead to the emergence of blood dragon. Such a lust shape suddenly gave Wei Suo a sigh of relief, letting go, and even the Xianyin shapeshift great art clothing on his body was inspired. Great treasure, what are you doing? Zhu Xiaochun took a jump and saw that the ordinary cyan shapeshift great art clothes worn on Wei Suo were broken into pieces. He couldn't turn his head and he couldn't turn it around. Do you think that the great treasure is going to rise up, but he still has to streak naked? But he saw that there was a shapeshift great art dress in Wei Suo's cracked clothes, and the wind was blowing. The shapeshift great art had hundreds of wind blades with a high profile. At this time, Han Wei couldn't help but ask very strangely. Wei Suo, isn't that a belly pocket worn inside? Wei Suo suddenly was speechless, only to stimulate these windy wind blades. Under the joint efforts of the four people, these black worms fell into pieces. Divine consciousness went aside and Wei Suo's looked a little better. It is now obvious that there are no other monsters of strong great treasure approaching, and these black worms are endless, and people can't help but give birth to the idea that they will be killed alive. But the IQ of these black worms is not too high. Now Wei Suo lets Zhen Chongming let the shapeshift great art shield open. These black worms have smashed their heads and drilled inside. The pressure on the shapeshift great art shield instead great treasure minus. Wei Suo and Han Wei's chaotic dance of golden snakes and ice dragon true secrets are also great treasure range controlled shapeshift great art. Even shapeshift great art is not afraid of light consumption. More importantly, Wei Suo has great treasure. Restoring true pill, even if it takes 2 days to support it. Wei Suo, somewhat strange, these heavenly black driller insects should be deliberately supported in this secret place. These sands should be designed to create an environment suitable for the growth of these black worms. At this time, green-robed old man said something in amazement. Wei Suo nodded secretly and didn't dare to relax. She continued to apply shapeshift great art. The number of black worms in this valley is indeed quite large. It is half a time past the great treasure. It is estimated that at least tens of thousands of black worms have been killed. The black body of the black worms on the gray sand is thick. On the thick layer, the black diamonds flying around are thin, and the time for the lust shape to go over 1 or 2 stick of incense should also be able to kill. At this moment, Wei Suo suddenly touched his chin, as if he suddenly remembered what he was, then he gave the rushing thunder pestle intercourse to Han Wei controls, and he himself took out from the treasure receiving pocket. The piece is like the red great treasure stone, the crustacean of the great treasure stone lizard he used to refine the set of shapeshift great art shields. Inspired a group of innate true fire. It seems that after a fire, Wei Suo actually used this group of true fire to wrap these pieces of red giant treasure stone shell, melt it into a crystal clear red liquid. This is not to mention Zhu Xiaochun and Zhen Chongming, the pair of great treasure brains. Even Han Wei does not know what Wei Suo is going to do. I saw that under the control of Wei Suo's, this crystal clear red liquid was pulled into a great treasure's great treasure pie shape, and then Wei Suo pointed to Zhen Chongming to pull the gap between the shapeshift great art shields so, the black worms are crowded into a very dense black column. Then, along with Wei Suo's chaotic dance of golden snakes, while the front of the group of black worms was paralyzed, true fire controlled the red treasure of the great treasure pie shape, but it was a group of black worms wrapped inside. Soon, the red liquid was cooled by Wei Suo into a round crystal ball. Wei Suo, do you want to bring these black worms back to cultivate? Seeing Wei Suo doing this, Han Wei reacted a bit. I just want to use this as a shadow shift great art for the slut. Wei Suo he smiled and immediately shook his head. For this level 4 monster beast, Wei Suo has no interest in great treasure, and he doesn't even know the shapeshift great art, which is cultivated by this black worm. He did this to see how long the great treasure of his thickness, the great treasure, can wrap the black worms, and then he can control the thickness of the red giant stone-like crystal ball. Precise control of the time that these black worms are drilled. At that time, put such a ball in the secret place that you want to deal with. The cultivator is very curious to take it up and look at it. If you can't see the real thing for a long time, then suddenly a black worm will burst out. In the case of close-range lust, I am afraid that even the cultivation base of the 3rd Division's cultivation base is too late to react. In addition to this purpose, it is not bad to use this red ball as a shapeshift great art. When it is time to go to the other side, if the other side uses the shapeshift great art to break the red ball, it will pop up the black worm of the treasure group. If the opponent is the shapeshift great art great treasure shapeshift great art of the essence metal class, it is enough to drink a pot. This guy, I really want to come up with everything. After hearing Wei Suo explain this, Han Wei couldn't help but chill. This kind of great treasure stone lizard's carapace is merged with Wei Suo true fire, and the thing formed is really no different from the red great treasure stone. It is not estimated to be the cultivator of artifact refinement, and it is hard to see what it is. Even the cultivator of artifact refinement, it is impossible to know that there will be a group of black worms inside. Divine consciousness penetrated through and carefully felt it, and Wei Suo suddenly felt great treasure. After the black worms in the red ball were huddled together, there was no room for sprinting, and the bite power of the carapace was reduced. It seems that there are no 5 or 6 hours, and it is impossible to rush out. After the great treasure in the heart, Wei Suo immediately picked up the red great treasure of the red great treasure stone ball, and then pulled out the pieces of the giant treasure stone lizard, and took the bottle of the gourd lake. After all the remaining dozens of such shells were consumed, Wei Suo made a total of 16 such red balls. Then shapeshift great art was not used for half stick of incense, and all the black worms around him were killed. Wei Suo took the white jade crane and took Han Wei and others to the front of a stone pillar closest to them. I saw that the stone pillar was covered with countless holes, like a giant honeycomb treasure. The hot air is obviously thicker than the gray sand on the ground, giving people a feeling like the earth fire furnace that connects to the underground fire. Wei Suo would like to see such a stone pillar, but because green-robed old man is also unclear, he hesitated after a great treasure. After a while, he still dared not make it, forcibly restrained himself. Curiosity, continue to carefully move slowly to the east side of the valley. There are at least hundreds of such stone pillars seen along the way, and the secret places in the scattered valleys form a ring-like shape. It seems that no matter which direction you enter this valley, you will inevitably encounter this amazing number. Black worm. Going forward for a while, Wei Suo and others have seen a stone forest called Green-Robed Old Man. The stone pillars in this stone forest seem to be different from the stone pillars on the outside. It seems that Wei Suo is very suspicious. When it is close, will there be such a black diamond of a great treasure group again? Insect. What? But when it was only 10 miles away from the outermost periphery of the stone forest, suddenly there was no sign, and the yellow mist and gust of wind of a stalk suddenly surged. Not only did the eyes not see the surrounding lust shape, but even the divine consciousness was completely blocked. This is shapeshift great art. Wei Suo and Han Wei's face turned out to be a great treasure, and at the same time, the very cold surging sound of green-robed old man rang in Wei Suo's ear. This is Nine Palaces yellow wind formation, don't move. Otherwise, I have no shapeshift great art to get rid of you. You are listening to Novels at Bless Up channel. Wish you happiness and luck. How do you feel about this novel? Please like and leave a comment. Path to Heaven. Author, Wu Zy. Chapter 189. A shining, slap-like fire-eating carapace-like ruby was thrown into the ground fire above the ground fire by Weizhuo. At this time, Wei Suo opened the 26 Jin-chan furnace mouth. I saw that under the package of the ground fire, this ruby-like carapace actually melted like Jing gold, and turned into a red liquid, and in the ground fire, this ruby-like liquid appeared even more bright red drops. Wei Suo cast another piece of the same carapace into it. The newly put in carapace first fell into the mass of red liquid, then tumbled in it for a while, and it completely melted, and the ruby-like liquid became another circle. After casting 25 films in a row, Wei Suo stopped, shutting down 10 ground fires first, and then performing the fire of samadhi, inspiring a congenital real fire, enveloping a large group of crystal clear red liquid. 2. Under Weizhuo's control, The innate real fire slowly squeezed the red liquid, slowly flattened it, elongated it, and finally pressed it into an oval shield. Then, carefully withdrawing the innately real Weizhuo, and opening 6 golden-toed furnace openings, the oval-shaped red shield was slowly in a state of melting but not melting. After adjusting the position of the flame spraying out of the furnace mouth, so that this red shield floated steadily in the fire, a congenital real fire shone out from Weisuo's hands, and quickly condensed into a thin needle. The appearance is very skillful walking up this shield. With a smooth mention, a few simple, tassel-like runes were completed on this red shield. After that, Weizhuo closed the floor stove mouth in two rhythmically. After all the fires were closed, Weisuo quickly photographed the red Dharma shield that was about to fall in front of him. At this time, the red shield has been completely solidified, the front is very glorious, crystal and round, and the rune on the reverse is flashing layers of aura. The whole round shield looks like it was carved out of a whole ruby at the moment, which is very beautiful. I saw that after this magic shield naturally cooled down completely, Weisuo took out 19 ruby oval magic shields in a row from the Nebeo. After injecting into the Yuan one of the slightly different shields on one of the runes and the other 19 shields, I saw that the 20 shields were all suspended, and it was scattered into 3 layers and suspended around Weisuo's body. Seeing these 20 faces made the entire fire room look extremely dazzling, and Weisuo's mouth slightly curled up, unable to conceal the excitement. These 20 sets of magic shields are not sharp when viewed individually. Each is a defensive power of half-soul order, and it is not much different from the general black turtle shield. But the old man in the green robe taught him to refine the set of shields. As long as the main shield in front of Weisuo was not damaged, the remaining damage would not affect other shields at all. The defensive power of so many magic shields superimposed, but it certainly surpassed the spirit-level fire armor shield on Weisuo and the Xuanhuan vestment on his body. And this set of shields can defend almost all front, back, left, and right attacks, and the protection range is almost comparable to the aura mask. However, the refining of the set of magic shields also took Weisuo's 3 days, and in 2 days, Weisuo and Han Weiwei made an appointment to meet the Rizai who made a spiritual stone. At the thought of this, Weisuo's mouth was raised again, because he was already imagining what Han Weiwei would be if he heard that he was going to engage in a 6th-level mid-level black blood larvae kind of expression. Almost at the same time, Weisuo thought of Nangong Yuking again, and when he thought of this stubborn woman, Weisuo felt that time was pressing again. Because if Tai Ce really traced the origin of Heisha and fight with Heisha, Weisuo would definitely not stand by, because he killed so many Heisha people in the land of King Fengaling. The hatred between him and Heisha is absolutely impossible to resolve. The one-time solution is of course to completely solve the Heisha group of people. However, Wen Daozhou, who saw Zhou Tianjing's 2 cultivation practices, also seemed to be only a small boss, and Weisuo did not feel that his current strength and cultivation practices were enough. Thinking of this, Weisuo didn't even want to take a break, and immediately left the ground fire room and went directly into the room dedicated to breeding heartworms. 6 days ago, the brain marrow of the more than 100 monsters that Weisuo laid down has been swallowed up by this heartworm, and it seems that the heartworm's meal amount is not really large. Weisuo Ningxuan felt it for a while, and felt that his heart-biting insect was still relatively full at the moment. It seems that the number of more than 100 monsters in 6 days is almost exactly right for the heart-biting insect. Aren't the brains of these monsters' effects on heartworms much less than the monster liquids recorded in the rest of the slave beasts? But what made Weisuo frown is that the brain medulla of nearly 200 monsters has been absorbed before and after, and most of them are the brain medulla of monsters of the 3rd level or above, but this head is biting. The worm's size didn't seem to grow much. Suo Xing also made it available. Suddenly Weisuo's heart began to work together, while refining some Peiyao liquid out to make this head worm eaten, while also letting it absorb the mind of the monster's brain. Is this, but when Weisuo thought so, When he put away the 100 or so demon beasts in the room, the clump of things on the ground let his eyes shine. This group of things turned out to be a faded heart-eater skin. If it wasn't because of some yellowish mucus inside, this translucent heart-eater skin, Weisuo was still a little difficult to find. My own heart-biting insect has actually shed its skin for the second time. Every time the eclipse molts, its strength will increase a lot. This unexpected discovery caused Weisuo to immediately move his mind, driving the lazy heart-eater lying in the corner of the room to cast a shock of consciousness. With a bang, a transparent ripple burst in front of the heartworm. Weisuo's eyes immediately widened in surprise. Because he can see that the intensity of the consciousness sent by his heart-biting insect at this moment is almost the same as that of the ordinary adult heart-biting insects in the previous mausoleum. It is certainly no problem that this intensity of the impact of the consciousness made the monks of the 4 layers of the Shanghai realm stiff all over. But his head, the heart-eater, was clearly half smaller than those. Could it be that the nutrition is so good that it developed in advance? This thought that immediately came to his mind, not only did not make him feel depressed, but rather made him unable to resist the sly smile. Because the heart-eater is originally a dangerous type, not a monster of strength. For Weisuo, as long as his talents are talented, his defense is not low, and he sneaks up, but the smaller the size, the more dangerous it is. It's better to develop directly to the level of elder heartworm in advance, and it's best to condense a Dharma pearl. It seems that so many monster beasts' brain marrow's cultivating effect on heart-biting insects is no less than that of Pei. If you let it devour the monsters of the same line, do you know if you will give birth to any other talents? Weisuo, who was so inspired, thought that he had cultivated the ground fire fairy lotus and the Xianming fairy lotus. Fire Lingen and Bing Lingen suddenly had such a thought in their mind. He immediately took out a bunch of corpses of wolf-head bats and other wind monsters from Nabeo, and threw them into the training room. The reason is that the wind monsters are not other monsters, that is because the number of wind monsters is the largest among the various departments, and this time Weisuo obtained the monsters filled with more than 20 Nabeos. Among them, the number of wind monsters is also the largest. It is estimated that there are at least 1,800. After picking King I's wind monsters to give this heart-biting insect, he asked them to take a 2-pronged approach, refining a dose of training monster liquid, so that the heart-biting insect could absorb the monster while holding it. The brain of the beast. In the next 2 days, in addition to going out every morning to see if there was a signal and getting rid of the immortal vine, Weisuo stayed in the ground fire furnace room and continued to exercise his level of refinery. In these 2 days, Weisuo used the tail feathers of the phoenix fire crow to refine 30 consumable artifacts fire phoenix ling. Once cast, this complete set of magic weapon phoenix ling made with the tail feathers of the phoenix fire crow will explode hundreds of phoenix-like flames, with a power above half spirit level and covering a range of 20 feet. As a consumable magic weapon, this kind of power is no longer comparable to the fireball symbol that Weisuo first refined. The next morning, after, Weisuo swept out of his cave, and he saw the sky in the distance rising a red wolf smoke. However, he did not immediately go to pick up Xuanhuan, but first returned to the cave house, put away the heartworms and his own refining implements, and explained that the 2 simple brains should not go outside the valley, so as not to after being used as a flower fertilizer by the extinct vine that has grown to more than 2 meters high. Weisuo Ki drove by Yuhi towards King Fengaling. Although this cave has been established for so long, it is safe and sound, but Weisuo, who pursues the first principle of safety, wants to go out. He still has to carry all the goods at the bottom of the box on his body. As for the 2 guys Zhu Xiaokun and Zhen Chongming, Weisuo decided that if he went to Longyaya this time, he still had to bring them together. It would certainly be impossible to tell the 2 to retreat, and there were 2 more Zhou Tianjings. The monk who is against the enemy is good even if he helps to release the magic shield. Near 10 o'clock noon, a white light fell into a dense forest in King Fengaling. "What, Weisuo, you have a sick head. You want to kill a 6th level intermediate black blood dragon? Don't take me with you if you want to die immediately. A cry like this came out. Path to Heaven. Author, Wu Ziyi. Chapter 190. Why Saw, are you sure that dusk fruit and blood lotus stem can make the black blood Xiao dizzy for a while and reduce its power to the enemy by one order? I have read it in a classic volume and it should be no problem. How do you know that there might be a golden ginseng in Broken Dragon Cliff, and there might be a black blood dragon guarding it? I also happened to see it on a fragment of an ancient book. Golden ginseng and other things are all useful for ginseng. The general monk should only collect golden ginseng, not uproot it. Black blood Xiao is very sensitive to the breath of golden spot ginseng, and the aura emitted by golden spot ginseng usually nourishes the black blood larvae, so there are generally black blood custodians guarding the golden spot ginseng. Near noon, a swaying white jade crane flew among the extremely wild wilderness forest outside the sky dome. At the forefront of Bai Yuhe, Wei Suo and Han Weiwei stood side by side, while Zhu Xiaokun and Zhen Chongming, a simple pair of brains, stood on the sides behind the two, each holding a magic instrument. Be careful. After Wei Suo inserted Han Weiwei into his cave house, he set off again overnight. Wei Suo had already calculated it carefully before, because he rushed from his cave house to Broken Dragon Cliff and went around. The journey was more than double the distance to Qingfeng Mausoleum, plus that he had never been there. The terrain is unfamiliar, and with 4 people, Bai Yuhe's flying speed must be much slower, so even if he took Zhu Xiaokun and Zhen Chongming directly to pick up Han Weiwei, he would definitely catch up before dark. If you can't reach the nearby Dragon's Cliff, you can only rush to the vicinity of Guangtu Ridge marked on that map. And that area is a place where high-level monsters are dense. It is very dangerous to rush or stay in that place at night. Only when you leave in the early morning, you can enter the Broken Dragon Cliff before dark. According to the old man in the green robe, it is generally unlikely that there will be other high-level monsters within the range of hundreds of miles around the 5th-level middle-level monsters that stay fixed, because monsters entering this area will be fixedly stayed. The high-level monsters there are deemed to have violated its territory and will be mercilessly killed or expelled. In general, there is a unique tacit understanding between the high-level monsters. Unless the elixir in one place is extremely important for the 2 high-level monsters, otherwise these high-level monsters will choose consciously. Avoid it, you won't fight for it. So after killing the black blood dragon, it would be safer to spend the night in Broken Dragon Cliff. Now Wei Suo and others have arrived at the place named Blood Maple Wasteland marked on the map. This place is a relatively flat wasteland, with many blood-red maple trees, and there are more than 800 miles of Broken Dragon Cliffs. Brother! Look over there. While admiring this large stretch of blood-red maple forest wonders, Zhu Xiaochun in the back was exclaimed. The last time Gu Guzhuang and his party, this thick-browed man cut 2 eyebrows, now 2 grow out. The eyebrows are even more vigorous, like 2 black swords jumping between the words. Han Weiwei usually cannot help but want to laugh. But at this time he heard a cry of exclamation and saw his 2 eyebrows, but Han Weiwei didn't want to laugh at all. As Zhu Xiaokun's eyes looked, she and Wei Suo both saw dozens of lightning bolts falling from the sky. Although it seems that those flashes are very small at such a long distance, the sky there is very clear, and it is obvious that the lightning is a monk's spell or some magic weapon. As soon as Wei Suo's face changed, Bai Yuhe instantly fell a few points, and fell to a height slightly lower than the canopy of the maple forest underneath. At the same time, he took out the map that he had seen many times and glanced at it. He remembered correctly that the place where the lightning strikes now, if measured by the location of Qingfengling, is located in the north of the sky dome outside Qingfengling, which is completely outside the scope of this map of Weizhou. It was only a moment later, and I saw 5 or 6 escapes vaguely appearing in the sky, and then the escapes became clearer and clearer. Looking at this situation, it is only those lightnings. It seems that these monks just happened to encounter some monster when they passed that place. After a while, those escaped light turned out to be closer and closer to the hiding place of Wei Suo and others, and the trance can be seen clearly. The most current vagueness is a mahogany sailing magic weapon, followed by it. The latter is a flying beast with flashing blue lights on all four heads. From a distance, it is vaguely eagle-shaped, but the specific appearance is still somewhat unclear, and it is impossible to judge what level of monster is in the end. Among the mahogany flying arcs that look like flying boats, there are not many monks, but the flying monsters whose foreheads look bigger than the white jade crane at the foot of Wei Suo are all insane. Standing 2 or 3 monks, the total number of these monks should be at least 10 or more. I saw these monks. When they fled to about 200 miles from Wei Suo's hiding place, they fell directly towards a forest on the north side. That place is also outside the area of this map in Wei Suo's hands. Cracking Golden Eagle. Those people are people in Golden Eagle Palace. When the monks flew down, Han Weiwei, who clearly saw the paws of the flying beasts, whispered in surprise. People in the Golden Eagle Palace. Wei Suo also froze for a moment. It shouldn't be wrong. The belly of the cracked golden eagle is green and the claws are golden. And the size of the four-headed golden eagle is so large that it must be the elder-level cracked golden eagle cultivated by the Golden Eagle Palace. There are a total of 8 elder-level cracked golden eagles in the Golden Eagle Palace. Even if there are cracked golden eagles in other sects and scattered repairs, there cannot be so many elder-level cracked golden eagles. Han Weiwei is very right. Wei Suo nodded. How about we go see? Wei Suo frowned slightly and discussed with Han Weiwei. Originally, Wei Suo didn't want to shoot outside the festival. When he saw that the monks had landed, he wanted to sneak away. But hearing Han Weiwei say that these people are the Golden Eagle Palace, Wei Suo couldn't help but have the idea of going to see what they are doing here. Because after the elder of the Golden Eagle Palace was killed in the 7-star city last time, the relationship between Wei Suo and Golden Eagle Palace is of course already a dead enemy. If there is a chance to kill several players in Golden Eagle Palace, Wei Suo of course it is also very happy. Good, Han Weiwei nodded immediately. She had always wanted to go and see. Wei said this, of course, she was terrified. What are these guys doing? Wei Suo was still considering how to approach the monks of the Golden Eagle Palace as much as possible, but when he secretly approached the mountain forest, the movements made by the monks of the Golden Eagle Palace were already shocking. Moreover, the terrain of these monks is very low, so although Wei Suo and others on a hilltop of this mountain range are at least more than 20 miles away from these monks, they can already see these people at a glance. I saw that in this mountain forest, there was actually a small lake with a radius of several miles. The green water of this small lake, looking down from the mountain where Wei Suo and others are located, looks like an emerald gemstone. And the monks who landed here at this moment have almost all seen clearly. There are 13 monks in total, all gathered at the grassy flat lake, led by a thin black-robed monk and a middle-aged monk wearing a gold vest. Of the remaining 11 monks, 9 were wearing the same dark yellow vest, while the other 3 were wearing dark blue, green, and gray vests, respectively. It is slightly larger than the 9 monks. As for the specific face and dress, because Wei Suo and others are now at the back of these monks, plus the distance is relatively far, but they still can't see clearly. At the moment, the 9 monks who were obviously wearing the Golden Vulture Palace vests, but they were each using their thunder spells, constantly inspiring bright lightning bolts of thin arms, aimlessly, slamming towards the lake. Blasting a column of water on the lake, bursting with white gas and sonic shocks. The monk, who was dressed in earthy cassocks and looked a little chunky and slightly bald above his head, was swiftly offering more than 10 triangular blue buns. I saw that after the flags were excited, a swarm of bees turned into blue light and landed on the ground around the monks. Immediately, a cloud of mist emanated from the flags, and soon all of the monks. As the mist continued to spread, these monks soon covered the mist of the white se in the area within hundreds of feet, and they could not see it from the hilltop where Wei Suo and others were located. What did these monks do in the end, only to see that the lightning of the arms was still falling on the lake? Just when Wei Suo and Han Weiwei couldn't help but looked at each other, bang, a huge noise burst into the center of the green lake, a huge splash of water sprang up. Compared with this group of water splashes, the water column of lightning flashed by these Golden Eagle Palace monks was simply too thin. Among the huge splashes, a huge figure of gold suddenly appeared. That is, this huge gold figure is more than 10 feet long, and it is covered with goldfish scales. At first glance, it looks like a huge gold carp, but it is like a golden carp on the round body. But it has a pair of gold wings that seem to be longer than the body, and on the abdomen, it seems to have a pair of claws like birds. Kunpeng golden carp. It was only a slight stunned start to see a pair of giant wings on the back of this golden carp-like monster that were also covered with scales. Wei Suo and Han Weiwei all changed their faces. Kunpeng golden carp. Intermediate level 6. One level with the black blood dragon, the strength is equivalent to the monster of the triple monk in the split period. Path to Heaven. Author, Wu Ziwei. Chapter 191. Chapter 191 Preparing for Travel. After a day, Wei Suo and Han Weiwei, who were safely returned to the little night cave house, have studied 3 strange green crystal stones in the quiet room. In front of Wei Suo and Han Weiwei, there are 2 pots, one of which is planted with a 7-night chrysanthemum and a riceberry. Both of these things were dug back from Wei Suo's way back from the broken dragon cliff. They can also be worth 2 or 3 downscale spiritual stones, but not a rare spicy herb. The 7-night chrysanthemum has the effect of clearing fire and detoxifying, and has a certain nourishment effect on the cultivation water attribute of the shapeshift great art cultivator. The riceberry is a low shrub with white fruits. The juice inside the fruit is like a rice pulp, some of the roll of the valley. The 2 plants, after the opening of the yellow chrysanthemum of the 7-night chrysanthemum, can last for 7 days. By the 7th day, the flower's potency reaches its peak. After 7 days, the flowers will wither and the drug power will be lost. The ripening period of riceberry is also about 3 or 4 days. After 3 or 4 days, the riceberry will not only fall off, but also the riceberry plant will die. It can only wait for the nucleus bud inside the riceberry. A new plant is produced. Now this 7-night chrysanthemum is exactly the 7th day, it looks like it will wither after a while, but the tender peel of the riceberries looks like it is about to drop out of the water, has been cooked cannot be cooked, no accident, less than half stick of the incense time, the 5 or 6 fruits on the riceberries will all fall. I saw Wei Suo carefully remove the 3 green crystal stones from the treasure receiving pocket, then dug the soil beneath the riceberry and buried it. After that, Wei Suo and Han Weiwei waited for each other. The scene of the surprise appeared. After a great treasure, the riceberry that should have been ripely dropped has no signs of maturity, and it is still growing well. Wei Suo took out 2 green crystal stones in succession, but nothing changed. But when the 3rd green crystal stone was taken out by Wei Suo, the fruit on the riceberry was immediately dropped. Then, this riceberry tree also began to wither normally. The 3 green crystal stones were then buried under the 7-night chrysanthemum by Wei Suo. Similarly, after waiting for a long time, it was obvious that the flowers of the 7-night chrysanthemum had withered, and the flowers of this 7-night chrysanthemum were also good. Long. Similarly, Wei Suo took out 2 green crystal stones and it was all right. After the 3rd green crystal stone was taken out, the 7-night chrysanthemum began to wither, but unlike the riceberry, the 7-night chrysanthemum flower withered. After the loss, the plant itself is still growing well. Up. Wei Suo and Han Weiwei's faces were filled with a golden look of lust. Now, no matter whether the green crystal stone is a naturally created strange spiritual stones or a refining of a powerful cultivator equipped with Vajra 5 elements wall, it is certain that these 3 green crystal stones do have a variety of after the life limit, the spiritual herb continues to grow. This strange crystal stone is really useful for the cultivator. For example, some cultivator planted in the dongfu of spiritual herb, is about to pick the time, that cultivator cannot go to other places, can only be honest waiting to pick, equivalent to be tied to death, and with this crystal stone, you can rest assured great treasure. Anyway, after spiritual herb also will not spiritual chi lost, and the drug will continue to increase with time. And cultivation world, there are some spiritual herb and 7-night chrysanthemum and rice berries are different, is a certain amount of time will bear fruit, but to a certain age, its own plants will wither, but with this spiritual stones, let oneself plant longevity, should be able to bear the fruit again, and then do not pick, but also can make the fruit in the accumulation of the drug. At that time, Wei Suo just took out a green crystal stone, and the golden spotted ginseng's fruit began to fall. Now the 7-night chrysanthemum and rice berry are just a green crystal stone. It should be golden spotted ginseng. The energy is farther than the 2 ordinary spiritual herbs. Anything that has spiritual chi and powerful energy will be consumed slowly, but these 3 green crystal stones have obviously been buried under the golden spotted ginseng for a long time, and there are tens of thousands of badly made years, so it will not be a problem to use it for another 180 years. Great treasure. Most medicine pill, the more potent the raw materials, the higher the quality of medicine pill. This crystal stone can extend the growth period of the spiritual herb, making it more potent, and the quality of the refined medicine pill will be higher. The value of these 3 strange green crystal stones can be said to have definitely exceeded the value of a blood dragon. That is to say, golden spotted ginseng has produced so many parameters, and it has a faint glow of 3 colors. The great treasure may be due to the extremely long growth time and the accumulation of medicine. Thinking of this layer of Wei Suo, I couldn't help but take out the white jade bottle with 7 golden spotted ginseng fruits. 7 golden spotted ginseng fruits lay quietly in the white jade bottle. These 7 parameter fruit are only yellow beans like great treasure, and the bottom is connected with a small stem, which looks like a small cherry. But the epidermis is the color of the red with gold, and the flesh inside is faintly revealing purple. Unlike the rest of the herbal herb, the 7-piece spiritual chi is very restrained, close to the white jade bottle, and can't smell any special smell. This golden spotted ginseng under normal lust conditions, only 2 of the 2000 before the end of the 3 parameters, which have been 7, even if it is at least 4 or 5,000 years. And they all grow into such a 3-color glow, should it be much more effective than the normal fruit? Wei Suo looked at the 7 very attractive parameters and couldn't help but say it. That's not necessarily Han Weiwei's heart is also very exciting, but seeing what Wei Suo is proud of, she can't help but hit Wei Suo. It may take too long for the drug to produce a great treasure change, the spicy herb. It's turned into poison, or the potency is too strong, maybe you will become a freak at once. This, Wei Suo looked at Han Weiwei silently. After thinking about it, he asked, "What are your plans for the next step?" "What do you mean by this?" Han Weiwei snorted. "What can I do? You are a lot of people, I am not just looking at what you have planned, you have to go out and earn spiritual stones, I will follow to earn spiritual stones, you have to prepare for the closure of culture, I am going to retreat to culture." "So you are following me? That is not equito to that. Would you like us to come to cultivation about the mystic fiend?" Wei Suo was happy, and he couldn't help but swear by this, but he certainly didn't dare to say it. After looking at Han Weiwei, Wei Suo explained, "Next I may have to go a long way because I promised a cultivator to send something to Phoenix Nest City." "Send a thing to Phoenix Nest City?" Han Weiwei stunned. She knows that Phoenix Nest City is located in the east and south of Heavenly Profound Continent. The intercourse is secret place, and the Spirit Peak City is separated by more than 10 cities, so it takes more than a month to get back and forth. Wei Suo nodded. Next to Phoenix Nest City is planned, because the Sky Valley line has several months passed, if the first retreat, maybe it is a short few months, Long Year Su, although Grandma Jin said her granddaughter there are 3 years of life essence, but dragged 2 long words, Wei Suo don't want her granddaughter because of what accident in advance of death, the poison oath is too ruthless, or to finish first before rest assured. And Wei Suo has carefully calculated that if you close the culture, you need to consume at least 1000 golden spirit pellet from heavenly circuit realm 3rd layer to the 4th layer. This is equivalent to 110,000 down the product spiritual stones. However, Wei Suo built the cave and spent more than 100,000 spiritual stones. After winning the spiritual stones from the group of people in Sihatang, Wei Suo added only about 100,000 spiritual stones. If you slowly take out some of the unused beast corpse naked body, the culture to heavenly circuit realm 4th layer is definitely not a problem, but in the Wei Suo's plan, it is as long as you get the golden spotted ginseng's parameters. It is necessary to set up shapeshift great art to close the long-term barrier and directly impact the great treasury of thought division realm. Now as long as the drug power of this golden spotted ginseng is no problem, as long as Wei Suo has enough spiritual stones and time, breaking through to the thought division realm should not be a problem. Because green-robed old man said ridiculously, the golden spotted ginseng's potency is much better than that of the cultivar, and only the pig-like cultivator is still in trouble with this kind of spicy herb. Wei Suo is now a cultivator of dual spiritual roots, and after a lot of great treasure battles, I have seen a lot of great treasure scenes, and my mind has been tougher than the general cultivator. If you can get 200,000 downscale spiritual stones from Grandma Jin's granddaughter, then the spiritual stones for the closed impact realm are almost the same. Now Wei Suo think, Han Wei should also excitedly follow their own to Phoenix Nest City, because this little woman usually want to run out to go all day, and a person on the road, sometimes very boring, but this time, Han Wei is to thought of the way, then I still do not go. Wei Suo you first send me back to Spirit Peak City, I take this time in Rare Treasure Pavilion of Retreat Impact Heavenly Circuit Realm the 2nd layer cultivation base is ready. You don't go, Han Wei's answer is that great treasure is out of Wei Suo's expectation, so he can't help but groan. The time is too long. Han Wei frowned a little hesitantly. I am worried about my senior sister. In this case, then you should bring some of this parameter back and let Ji Ya help me to try the drug. Han Wei's answer made Wei Suo's heart a little complicated. He silenced for a moment, nodded, and then said, then I have to prepare a little, and I have to close 2 or 3 days to enlighten one. Shapeshift great art you are here for me for a few days, then I will send you back to Spirit Peak City. Say good to Han Wei. After leaving this quiet room to Han Wei, Wei Suo entered an ordinary room. I saw that he seemed to have already thought about it. He took out a medicine pill and swallowed it. This medicine pill is blood red, and the pigeon-like great treasure is small, obviously United Void Pellet. COMM you are listening to Novels at Bless Up channel. Wish you happiness and luck. How do you feel about this novel? Please like and leave a comment. Path to Heaven. Author, Wu Zy. Chapter 192. Chapter 192 Detecting Messages. 3 consecutive years are not easy, wow, red tickets. The United Void Pellet was on the belly, and True Yuan in the Wei Suo naked body instantly gave a surging sound of the waves. A turbid gas gushed from his body, and then 9 of his body appeared. The Divine Sea Light Group, 8 great treasures, and then the 9 Divine Sea Light Groups are connected together to form a new heavenly circuit. Heavenly Circuit Realm 4th layer, once again with the power of a United Void Pellet, Wei Suo became the cultivator of the Heavenly Circuit Realm 4th layer. Call. But with a sigh of relief, Wei Suo couldn't help but smile. Although there has been an experience of swallowing refining United Void Pellet, this taste is really uncomfortable. After carefully feeling the difference between the Heavenly Circuit Realm 4th layer and the Heavenly Circuit Realm 3rd layer's True Yuan and Divine Consciousness, Wei Suo took an amethyst fox rose from the treasure receiving pocket and swallowed it directly. Then start sitting on the refining. The 2 remaining amethyst fox roses, which he had prepared for the critical time of the thought division to break through the golden core, would have been used before he went to 7-star city. But Han Weiwei's casual words made him suddenly change his mind. Whether it is Nangong Yuking and Black Fiend, or Jia and Dong King II, maybe there will be a great treasure soon, or don't think about the distant golden core realm, or you can have it first. How quickly to improve the cultivation base, and then upgrade as soon as possible. Because in the event of change, Wei Suo will definitely not stay out of the way. And after running out of this amethyst fox rose, there is still 1 amethyst fox rose left in Wei Suo's. It can be used as a thought division realm to break through to golden core realm. If you have an emergency before using golden core realm and you have used the remaining amethyst fox rose, you can go to Sky Valley again, and there is 1 amethyst fox rose left. At normal speed, if Wei Suo can break through to golden core realm within 10 years, then Wei Suo can dream of laughing. Of course, the best option is to retreat first to Heavenly Circuit Realm 4th layer, and then swallow this United Void pellet, break through to Heavenly Circuit Realm and 5th, so equivalent to be able to save great treasure amount of spiritual stones, but because refining talisman, concocting pills, and now artifact refinements exercise, plus Wei Suo's purple mystic true technique has broken through to the earth level mid-level, so Wei Suo now divine consciousness is to be far exceeds out the general cultivator of the same sibling. The last time Wei Suo was on the way from 7-star city to Fallen Moon City and back to Spirit Peak City, Wei Suo had already felt carefully. If he could upgrade a cultivation base, he should be able to pass 2 in a day. Transfer the shapeshift great art array from a distance without hurting divine consciousness. That is to say, if you upgrade to the cultivation base of the Heavenly Circuit Realm 4th layer and then go out, you can save half of the time back and forth. When you save yourself, it will take too long to leave, and there is a great treasure change. And if you really want to be a spiritual stones, you can save at least 15 or 6 days, so that he can earn spiritual stones now, and it won't lose much, and the cultivation base of Heavenly Circuit Realm 4th layer is certainly safer. The last time refining Amethyst Fox Rose, Wei Suo spent a whole 5 days, but this Wei Suo has Heavenly the Circuit Realm 4th BASE, True UN Power Great Treasure, plus he's already dual spiritual roots cultivator, so it took only 3 days to get the plant Amethyst Fox Rose all refining, discharged a black filth, to the hot spring pool Maimei bubble after a bubble, Wei Suo began to really prepare for this long journey things up. Phoenix Nest City is the 6th largest city in the 13th most eastern city of Heavenly Profound Continent. Although the size of the city is only a little more than the Spirit Peak and the Fallen Moon City Great Treasure, it is not as good as 7-Star Town, but there are several family-specific things to do with the processing of the raw materials needed for cultivator, as well as some jade ornaments from the city, are also famous in the southeastern part of the Heavenly Profound Continent, because these families employ many mortals, so the city has 70,000 or 80,000 permanent cultivator, but tens of thousands of mortal. Of course, these mortals, living in this city, will also try to do some shapeshift great art to earn spiritual stones, and want to do shapeshift great art as a cultivator. Wang Hao is a mortal who wants to be a cultivator in Phoenix Nest City. He is usually in a shop called Miao Fang, specializing in carving jade, but in his spare time, he will go to the past cultivator. I pet some things that I carved myself with scraps that I didn't use in the shops. In the meantime, you can accumulate some spiritual stones in exchange for a useful culture shift great art. On this day, Wang Hao just took a few pieces of his own carvings and went out soon. He saw a young cultivator in a green shirt, standing in the corner of the street, watching the west, looking at the secret place. It seems to have just arrived in Phoenix. The look of Nest City. Wang Hao immediately greeted him and walked up to the young cultivator of this green shirt. He said with respect, "Is this predecessor coming to Phoenix Nest City for the first time? Our Phoenix Nest City jade jewelry is very famous throughout the southeast of Heavenly Profound Continent." There are also a few pieces in the lower hand. I don't know if the seniors are interested in seeing it. This young cultivator in a regular green shirt is just arriving at Weisuo in Phoenix Nest City. On that day, Amethyst Fox Rose was refining, and after arrangements were made between Zhen Chongming and Zhu Xiaochun, Weisuo headed for Phoenix Nest City. As he expected, after upgrading to the cultivation base of the Heavenly Circuit Realm 4th layer, he was barely able to transmit the shapeshift Great Art Array twice in a long distance without damaging divine consciousness, alleviating discomfort in addition to rest. He did not stop at other cities, so he only took 8 days to get to Phoenix Nest City. At this moment, Weisuo smiled and said, "Oh, what's the thing?" I saw the young man wearing a yellow cloth and looking slim and his hands covered with old hands. Seeing that Weisuo didn't have any shelves, Wang Hao suddenly smashed out a few things on his body and introduced them one by one. This is a hair ring carved from white jade, which can be used to hug the hair. If you are a senior, if you are wearing it, you can make your predecessors more comfortable. This is the unicorn face of the sapphire carving, which can be used as a decoration on the door of the predecessor. This piece of jade can be hung on the body, is a hollow bat pattern, can bring some good luck. Weisuo looked at the things that Wang Hao took out with some interest and asked, "How many spiritual stones do you want these things?" Wang Hao's eyes were a bit hesitated a little, and said, 2 pieces of spiritual stones. 2 pieces of spiritual stones. Weisuo glanced at Wang Hao and smiled. He said, "You have a lot of variegated hair in this white jade ring. This jade unicorn face has a fine line, and this piece of jade is really thin. If you make a mistake, these things should only be carved out of some jade scraps, and even a spiritual stones should not be worth it." Wang Hao's face immediately became ugly, and he gritted his teeth. "If the predecessors really want 3 things, I can only sell half of the following spiritual stones. I am interested in these things and not too great treasure." Weisuo took a look at Wang Hao and said, "But I did come to Phoenix Nest City for the first time. If you can tell me about the lust status of Phoenix Nest City and bring the lead, I can pay for 2. The next product spiritual stones gives you. What do you say in your predecessors?" Wang Hao suddenly surprises the surging sound. "These 3 things are really worthless, even as spiritual stones. It is enough to sell a product of spiritual stones, but now Weisuo is say to him 2 pieces of spiritual stones." When this sentence was spoken, Wang Hao felt that his own sentence seemed to be suspicious of Weisuo. He was disrespectful to him and immediately said, "The predecessors don't blame, it is a bit too much surprise." Weisuo didn't say much. He smiled and collected these things. Then he took out 2 of the following products, spiritual stones, and handed them to Wang Hao. "You can start now." Of course. Wang Tong also, no matter Weisuo have no interest, very excited, will own 3 pieces of carving to Weisuo's hands, then immediately said, "We Phoenix Nest City in heavenly profound east but very distinctive, other cities around a lot of monster beast activities, can Phoenix Nest City around 2,000 miles, but there are not many monster beast activities, so we Phoenix Nest City than other cities is more secure." Listen to Wang Tong gushing introduction for a while. Originally to Phoenix Nest City unknown Weisuo is clear, originally because the monster beast around is very rare relationship, so this Phoenix Nest City inside is nothing special. Gria T treasures path of cultivation sect, but with processing and some raw materials, some of the production of jewelry, in these industries formed a number of great treasure family. The families of these great treasures in Phoenix Nest City are balanced against each other and, unlike other cities, are solely governed by sect, the most great treasure of a certain force. Among these families, the most powerful treasure is dedicated to heavenly profound continent. Some sects refine essence metals. Lu family from ore, and Zhang family, which specializes in various jade ornaments. Miaofang, where Wang Wei is usually located, is one of Zhang family's many industries. However, Listening to this, Wang Hao said that Phoenix Nest City is a great treasure cultivator that has not had a golden core stage for hundreds of years. That is to say, the cultivator among the two families is more powerful and should only be the cultivator of the thought division stage. We also have a Jin family in Phoenix Nest City. There are also a lot of researches on shapeshift great art and artifact refinement. If there is any shapeshift great art device for seniors to refine, you can also try this Jin family. What makes Wei Suo's eyes shine is that Wang Hao said it, but he said Jin family. Oh. Is there a way to refine the shapeshift great art? Wei Suo suddenly asked for the surging sound color. How much do you know about this Jin family? I seem to have heard of the famous cultivator called Grandma Jin. Is she also a Jin family? The Jin family has two stores in the city. One is called the Lingfu Pavilion, which sells some shapeshift great art symbols and the consumption class shapeshift great art. The other is called Jin Fang, which is dedicated to helping people to make shapeshift great art and refine essence metal, including custom shapeshift great art and more. Wang Hao replied, the Grandma Jin you mentioned should be Jin Jin's Jin Qiu. Her generation had 13 brothers and sisters, all of whom were cultivators, but nowadays the great treasure has more life essence and is exhausted. Only she and Kim fifth patriarch are the oldest Jin family qualifications. The most powerful treasure, the most important person. Path to Heaven. Author, Wu Ziyi. Chapter 193. Chapter 193 Soft Beauty. Anyway, there is no understanding in the city. Wei Suo is not too scolding for great treasure, and does not ask for more cover. What is the relationship between Jin Qiu and this financial fifth patriarch? This golden fifth patriarch is still a great treasure than Jin Qiu. As such, the cultivation base should not be low. The relationship between Jin Qiu and Jin fifth patriarch is unclear. However, Kim fifth patriarch, I have seen one side. It seems that the face of great treasure is only 40 years old. It is said that the cultivation base seems to be above the gold 7. Wang Hao is not thinking about it, knowing what to say. Wei Suo's brow was undetectable and then wrinkled. Then he asked, have you ever heard that Jin Qiu has a granddaughter? Wang Hao immediately nodded and said, Jin Qigu seems to have a granddaughter, but her granddaughter has never appeared in the city, so the lust shape with the naked body should be known by few people. Wei Suo then asked, how much is this Jin family's cultivator great treasure? Great treasure about took 2 of the following products, spiritual stones, but Wei Suo asked many people do not know, so Wang Hao said some of his forehead sweat. Jin family has hundreds of people together, cultivator should also at least 56 or more. Where is Jin family's usual important people living? Is it in those 2 stores? Wang Hao shook his head, that is not. Jin family has Jinfu in the east of the city. Usually, Jin Qiu and Jin fifth patriarch should be in Jinfu. Golden House in the east of the city. Wei Suo nodded and silently nodded, said, then you will take me to this golden house. Good. Wang Hao also knew that anything between the cultivators was not something that he could intervene with, so he didn't think much at all. He nodded immediately and took the road in front. Wei Suo followed Wang Hao and looked at the place he had never been to. Probably there is no such thing as sect, and there is no monster beast threat around. Wei Suo found that the Phoenix Nest City is a bit larger than the Spirit Peak City Great Treasure, but the cultivator's average cultivation base is better than Spirit Peak City's average cultivation base is lower. Along the way, there are 10 buddies in the store, but there are 4 or 5 mortals, and rarely see the cultivator above Heavenly Circuit Realm. Most of them are cultivators of Divine Sea Realm 3rd layer 4th layer. Now Wei Suo still hides a layer of cultivation base with subtle concealment, but the past cultivator spotted Wei Suo Heavenly Circuit Realm, and not only the atmosphere of Heavenly Circuit Realm 1st layer cultivation base, but also the face changed slightly. The face is the color. The Phoenix Nest City is built on the plains. The surrounding scenery is very common among the many cities that pass along Wei Suo, but the buildings are very beautiful. Many houses even have beautiful patterns on each piece of diamond. The decoration in many shops can also be described as magnificent. And among the shops in Phoenix Nest City, 5 out of 10 are selling a variety of exquisite jewelry and furniture, and many others are selling essence metal and other materials refined from various ores, selling shapeshift great art. The shop is rather rare. Just walking and watching, after crossing several main streets, Wei Suo arrived in front of the Golden House. This Golden House is also extraordinary, and the style of this Phoenix Nest City is not like the mountain gate of Dao Cultivator. It is like a rich man's wealthy door. I saw a circle of up to 5 feet of cyan wall surrounded by at least 10 miles, the room inside does not say thousands, at least there are hundreds of appearances, 2 stone lions at the door, great treasure is a halfway Suo's height. On the giant treasure door of Zuchi, the golden gold ring of 2 great treasures is very dazzling. On the plaque on the door, it is the 4 pure gold great treasure words of Jindong Jin family. I don't know what this Hongdong word means. Okay, you can leave, Wei Suo nodded after arriving at the secret place in front of the Golden House. Thank you for your predecessors. After Wang Hao repeatedly thanked him, he said that he was ready to leave. By the way, Wei Suo suddenly asked, if I have something to ask for your help, where can I find you? In the usual time, it is in Miaofang. If you want to find me again, you can just ask the individual at Miaofang and say that you can find Wang Hao. Good. Wei Suo nodded after nodding, and went to the great treasure door of Jinfu. At the gate of the Golden House stood 2 children wearing black silk, all only 20 teenage appearance, Farsi wearing ordinary tsingyi came to the Wei Suo. The 2 children seemed to be still-faced, do want to block Wei Suo, great treasure surging, sound reprimand, but Wei Suo walked near, a sense of his body breath, these 2 only level 1 divine C stage cultivation base of the children, suddenly all face great treasure change, immediately to come to the Wei Suo the line of a ceremony, the asked, do not know what the elder to the gold house. I am Mr. Li. Wei Suo does not move the surging sound color. I came to Jinfu because of the predecessor named Grandma Jin. I asked her to give her granddaughter Jin Qiao a message. Grandma Jin, the faces of the 2 children of the Golden House suddenly changed again. After looking at each other, one of them on the left quickly said, the seniors waited a little and let me advance to inform a surging sound. Wei Suo just waited for less than a cup of tea, only to see the Kim's child who was going to report, and flew out, followed by a middle-aged great treasure wearing a yellow shapeshift great art. The middle-aged great treasure Han has a national face and a white jade finger on his right hand. It looks like he is not in the Golden House. Wei Suo originally thought that this middle-aged man in his 40s is Wang Wei said the Golden Fifth Patriarch, but under the sweep of aura determining technique, this middle-aged great treasure has only the cultivation base of heavenly circuit realm first layer. As soon as I saw Wei Suo, the middle-aged great treasure was obviously a pair of eyes, and a dignified look flashed across his face. Then the middle-aged great treasure Han wearing a yellow shapeshift great art clothing greeted him and gave a tribute to Wei Suo. In the next Jing Quanji, the grandmother said that Grandma Jin is the aunt underneath. I don't know the seniors. What did you want to bring to Grandma Jin? Oh. Wei Suo looked at the cultivator of the heavenly circuit realm first layer without a look, saying, can you ask Jin Qiao girl to come out, because I promise Senior Jin, this message must be met with. Jin Qiao girl said face to face. This Jin Quanji is in a dilemma. He said, in the next little girl, she was weak and sick, and recently she was sick and heavy. It was really inconvenient to see. Wei Suo took a look at Jin Quanji and said, under the way, I heard some bad rumors about Jin family. Jin Xiong said, what wouldn't it be a dodge? Not good rumors. Did the predecessors think that I deliberately prevented you from seeing my little sister? Jin Quanji stay, Rai smile, in the next and my little sister lust very harmonious, my father is because is retreat, no shapeshift great art out of the meat, and I said the little sister inconvenient to come out greet, also just worry about the body naked the younger sister, since predecessors have the suspicion, in the next nature is to bring seniors into the house to see my little sister, when the elder if not believe, also can ask my sister. In the end, I just got senior Jin. I have a good secret place. I will take a message for her. When I finish, I will leave. What is your Jin family? It has nothing to do with me, Wei Suo said, no face lust. Predecessors, please come with me. Jin Quanji smiled a bit and made a gesture of asking, and he took the road ahead. After a long turn, Jin Quanji took Wei Suo to a two-story pavilion in the west of Jinfu. There are a lot of green bamboos around this pavilion. In front of it is a pond without great treasure. Looking at some rockery, it looks very quiet. Great treasure. Young master, going to the door of this two-story pavilion, a prostitute wearing a green blouse immediately greeted him, and some of them fear Jin Quanji. You tell the lady a surging sound. My aunt has asked a senior to come over and want to bring her a message, Jin Quanji told the prostitute. After the prostitute entered for a while, he only heard a very soft and nice surging sound coming from the building. Great treasure, you and this predecessor came in. After Jin Quanji nodded to Wei Suo, he walked in with Wei Suo. I saw the window on the second floor, a girl wearing a goose-colored palace dress sitting on a chair and waiting. At the sight of the woman, Wei Suo was a slight glimpse. When I said that the woman's facial features did not seem to be outstanding, her figure was not proud, she looked a little thin, but her body exudes an elegant temperament, coupled with the delicate and powerless manner, but let people can't help but feel amazing. Thank you for coming to the predecessors, but the little girl has been sick for a long time. There is no shape-shift great art to get up. When Wei Suo came upstairs, the girl barely got up and gave Wei Suo a ritual. Then she said aloud and laughed and sat down. Its soft and powerless surging sound seems to have a unique charm and is very nice. You're welcome, just make an intercourse with Senior Jin. Wei Suo looked at the girl and her eyes flashed and said, are you Jin Ben Chiao, the granddaughter of Senior Jin? The girl nodded and said, the little girl is Jin Chiao. Since the seniors said so, the little girl is not too much. I don't know what my grandmother brought to my predecessors. Wei Suo glanced at the girl and said, she asked me to tell you that she will soon break through the thought division stage, and the great treasure will take about 1 month to return to Phoenix Nest City. Oh. The girl seems to be disappointed. My grandmother didn't say anything else. Lust. As for what else, she did not mention it to me. Wei Suo is a lust like table lust. If you have already brought it, you will leave. Since the predecessors are so anxious to leave, the little girl is not retained. The girl nodded and said nothing. Jin Quanji also sent Wei Suo out of Jinfu without saying anything. After Wei Suo walked out of the Golden Treasure Gate, there was no such thing as a look, walking towards Phoenix Nest City, but his brow was locked.